The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. How are you? We got 1 week left. 1 week. Steve Bannon is a free man, and one of the first things that he said when he got out of prison after calling Jack Posobiec was, don't get complacent. Our biggest enemy is the couch. That's our biggest enemy right now. Are you excited? Are you big hype? 7 days. 7 days. And we want to do it all with you at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, Lebanon, Tennessee. We're going to be doing our election night party out there, free to attend. There's going to be a bunch of food trucks. We're going to watch the results roll in live. Brian's doing his entire show out there live. Myself, Mandis Murphy, we're going to be joining Brian on the air right around probably 5, 6 o'clock. And then we're going all night. We're pulling an all-nighter. And it's going to be fun. We want you there. We want you there. Again, totally free to show up. And you can win some great prizes from our friends at the Glock store, like a Trump Take America Back Glock.
You still reminiscing on that awesome gold and black suit that he was wearing?
I like the gold and black suit.
I think it's clean, man. It's clean.
You saw the picture of it?
Yeah. It looks good.
It is. It's a good vibe.
It looks good.
It is. It's a good vibe. The vibes on the other side of the Democrat Party, not as strong. Not as strong. Last night, where were they? They were doing a campaign event. And Tim Walz introed Kamala Harris. And you tell me if this sounds like somebody who's coming from a position of strength, okay? You ready for this? This is Tim Walz last night.
8 days to go. This election's already started. People are voting across the country. And so you know what it means. This is where I've got to do it. Huddling up a little bit here. Time for a little bit of a pep talk.
Is it starting good, dude? Pep talk? We need a pep talk from Coach Walz. Let's huddle up, guys. Everybody, huddle up. Huddle up, everyone. It's time for a pep talk from Coach Walz.
Look, we got to admit it. This game is tied.
That's not a good start.
2 minutes left on the clock. We got the ball. We're driving down the field. We're doing the blocking and everything we need to do. And I know you got a saying around here that came from Bo. The team, the team, the team. And boy, do we have the right team. So all gas, no brakes for the next 8 days. Plenty of time to sleep when you're dead.
Haven't they been taking days off? There's plenty of time to sleep when you're dead, says Coach Walz. And I'm just reminded, Kamala's been taking days off.
I think they realize the campaign's dead.
Maybe. Time for a pep talk, everybody. No days off except for those days that we just took off. The game's tied. The game is tied. I think that's the nicest way that he could say they're losing.
Our time now. We're moving this thing over the next 8 days. An inch at a time, a yard at a time.
An inch at a time? I don't know if that's going to move the needle. We got 7 days now, and if you're moving an inch at a time, I go back to what people are saying Joe Biden is saying behind closed doors, that the Trump strategy versus the Kamala strategy is classic hare and the tortoise, except the hare is also stupid, not just lazy.
One door at a time, one phone call at a time. One of those door knocks and one of those interactions. Because 1 or 2 extra votes per precinct in the state of Michigan will make Kamala Harris the president of the United States. Michigan, let's put that in terms you know. We'll tell them this. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Blue. Just cheesy. Just total cheese. And what he admits on the stage, where it's tied. Oh, I wish I could see those internal numbers. Right? Don't you wish that you could see those internal numbers? This is the weird sports stuff is just an admission that they don't have the male support in this country whatsoever. Right? They did a Twitch stream with AOC and Tim Walz where they were playing Madden together, and the game ended up tied at 0. And the conspiracy theories on the internet are that Walz's controller wasn't even connected. That there's another conspiracy theory. A lot of people are saying that AOC appeared to be pregnant. Listen, I don't think they're saying it because
I can't believe you just said that, because I thought this too.
And I don't think it's like a weight thing. It's like a glow thing. You know what I mean?
Her face has never been quite as full as it is right now.
Everybody was saying that they think she's pregnant.
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody say that, but when I saw the video this morning, I thought, oh, she also has, you have 4 kids, you know about this. She also has nose spread.
What is it?
Nose spread. Sometimes when women get pregnant, their noses they spread.
Oh.
Yeah. She's got nose spread.
I didn't know that. I'm learning that for the first time.
After 4 kids, you'd think you knew this already.
It might have been something I forgot.
Okay. Well, it doesn't happen to every woman, but
listen,
but it did.
I'm just happy that you're here co-signing what the internet's saying.
Yeah.
I was like, this is risky waters for me to travel through.
Oh no, I totally. So you get a vibe from somebody too. And you're right. It's kind of a glow thing.
Yeah, she's got this glow. So
Yeah.
anyway, the internet's saying AOC was pregnant, but aside from that, they're saying that Coach Walz knows nothing about sports. And the way he tweeted about it, he's like, "Oh, she ran a pick 6. You don't run you don't run a pick 6.
Even I know that.
You don't. You can't. You can't run a pick 6. JD Vance was also just mocking Tim Walz for this. JD Vance was like, you don't run a pick 6. You run the Wildcat. You run the West Coast.
And a pick 6 happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does a pick 6 happen if the game ends in 0-0?
Right.
A pick 6 means that you intercepted it and then you got the 6 points.
So why can nothing be organic?
It can't be. It's all faked and forced. But they're doing this because they got to win over men, and it's not just fake forced stuff with Tim. They're also doing fake forced stuff with First Doug, Dougie, if you will. He put out an ad with Doc Rivers, and it's like this weird basketball ad, and I can't really do it justice. It's Doc Rivers, and he's like, guys, we got to huddle up, and then Doug Emhoff and 2 other guys run over to him on the basketball court, and it sounds like this.
All right, guys, huddle up. Let's go. Yes.
They're all wearing suits also.
Okay.
On the basketball
that makes a
court.
whole lot of sense.
On the basketball court,
Yeah.
okay? And Doc says we gotta come up with a game plan.
Oh, yes. This is the final stretch of the election. We have 30 seconds for one last play. All right, Coach.
Doug Emhoff, he's just not. All right, coach. All right.
All right, Coach. Doug, you're going to travel across all these swing states, right? And you're going to make sure that folks know that Kamala is going to take care of all of them, just like she takes care of her family.
All right, so Doug's job is
Wait,
to.
just like she takes care of her family?
Yep, that's Doug's job. Doug's job in the last 30 seconds on the play from Doc Rivers is go to every swing state and let everyone know how much Kamala takes care of her family, and she'll take care of your family the same way.
Has it ever crossed your mind that she takes care of a family?
Yeah. Hold on, there's more. There's another guy there. There's three guys next to Doug, two other black guys, and then they have jobs from Doc too.
Yeah. Tony, you have to make sure everyone knows that Kamala is going to support their families.
All right, so Tony's job is to make sure that everyone knows that Kamala is going to support their families.
Yes.
So the first job was she's going to take care of your family like she takes care of hers.
Right.
The second job is you're going to support families.
Wes, you're going to make sure everyone knows that Kamala is an effective government partner.
You got it, Coach.
And all of you must head to iwillvote.com to make your plan to vote. To vote!
For Kamala.
It's so
Was
awkward.
that Doug in the end?
That
For
was
Kamala.
Doug. For Kamala. Hold on, it gets even worse.
Make your plan to vote. To vote!
For Kamala.
For Kamala. And now Coach Rivers breaks it down.
Hands in. Kamala on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kamala.
He says Kamala on 3, and two of the guys say break.
Kamala on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kamala.
Epic fail.
But my thing is, how many times did you shoot this? You couldn't have reshot that?
Kamala on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kamala.
And you just hear Doug. Everybody
Wow.
else yells break, and Doug yells, Kamala!
It's like it's the only name he knows, the only word he knows.
Hands in.
Kamala.
Kamala on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Kamala.
It gets better every time.
Sad.
It's very sad. I don't. This forced going after men is just embarrassing. They should be embarrassed.
Wait, when they first the first forced fake thing that they did was what? Tacos? Was it tacos?
Yeah, there's the white guy tacos.
Yeah.
Remember? And Kamala Harris said, is that tuna fish?
Right.
That's tuna and mayonnaise? That white guy tacos?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tim Walz had won a chili con carnival of some sorts in Minnesota before for spicy tacos.
Why did they put on these are just so odd. Have you ever seen a campaign that does stuff like this?
No. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So Tim Walz did his fake sports thing, introducing Kamala on the stage in Michigan. Kamala gets out there, and then she says,
As I travel our country, there is an overwhelming call for a fresh start.
Yeah. Yeah. Fact check true.
People from all walks of life, and they are calling for a new generation of leadership.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't do this intentionally, but she just goes out there on the campaign trail and makes Trump ads all the time.
As I travel our country, there is an overwhelming call for a fresh start. People from all walks of life, and they are calling for a new generation of leadership.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I mean, their campaign is just a mess. It's a mess. On the flip side, that's all they can do, right? They don't actually have a game plan. They just have talking points and narrative. They can't go out there and do what Trump can do, like he did last night in Georgia, where he goes out there and he actually makes promises to the American people that he plans to deliver on.
We will massively cut taxes for workers and all small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And I've just announced last night at Madison Square Garden. Did anybody watch last night? That was good. But just announced that I will support a tax credit, full tax credit, for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. They deserve it.
I love that plan.
And they add so much to our country, and nobody speaks about them, but they do. It's a big factor, and a lot of people ask me about that.
I love that. I really do. Me and my wife have talked, and it's like we don't ever want to have to put our parents in a home, you know. And there's so many people that feel that way, and it's like it's just unaffordable to do anything else, and to take care of your parents on your own when they get older, and to give that support a tax credit for family caregivers who are taking care of a parent or a loved one, like that's huge to a lot of Americans. So Trump is going out there and he's actually making promises for the American people. Kamala can't do any of that because she doesn't have any of that. The differences in these campaigns couldn't be more clear. They couldn't be more clear. Trump is running on a record of success, and he's running on actually wanting to make your life better. Kamala Harris right now is running on Trump is literally Hitler.
And I'm running a campaign of solutions to save our country. Kamala is running a campaign of demonization and hate. She really does. She's a hater. She's a hater.
She's a hater. She really is. She really is. She's a hater. That's what she is. Kamala's rally, though, was marked with something that was maybe one of the most cringeworthy moments in politics. Maybe. She has a moment where the entire crowd in Michigan is screaming and chanting her name. And she finds a way to make them all just shut up instantly.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us.
Do you hear her just suck the energy out of the room? You want me to shout my own name? I was shouting your name. And how do we all do that together? My name is Chris, and other people have more syllables. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. She kills the energy in the crowd. She kills all that. She did have some things to say, though, while she was in Michigan. Maybe it's something that you've heard before. Perhaps. She only has one speech. I'm convinced of it. Only one. She could hire writers, but she's chosen not to.
Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America.
Again.
Never again. Never again.
She does this all the time. You know when I want to hear that again? I don't.
Never again. Never again.
It's just cringy. Absolutely cringy. Do something different. Do something better. She's trying to do something. And one of the strategies that they have is, hey, ladies, lie to your husband. I'll explain what that strategy is on the way. It's 9:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I got to tell you about my friends at Kingdom Fence Company. I've met the owner, Dave, great guy, and they put their faith in their company so you can put your faith in their fence, whatever kind of fence you need, residential, commercial, farm, new, repair, or insurance claims. Kingdom Fence Company can get it done. Chain link, privacy, vinyl, pool, dog. They'll do it for you, and they'll do it at a good price. Give them a call, 615-390-5891, 615-390-5891, online at kingdomfencecompanyllc.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Hey everybody, Dan Mandis with Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. Right now, we are bringing results for our clients using both our radio and digital assets. 2025 is going to be a huge year, not only here in Tennessee, but of course, across America. If you want to jump on board, again, we're offering great incentives. Find us online, 997WTN.com, and let's talk.
One of Nashville's most wanted men is behind bars this morning. Also, a big national bank is suing to get its money back from some of its customers. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. So Kamala, they put out a new ad. It's actually an organization called Vote Common Good. It's like one of those, I think it's one of those super PACs, you know, all that dark money. But they got Julia Roberts to voice over this commercial. And the main gist of this new ad is, hey, ladies, even if your husband supports Trump, you can pretend to support Trump and then vote for Kamala when you get to the voting booth. This quite literally is the message from the ad.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose.
All right, it's already starting off pretty cringy and lefty. But if you watch the ad, this woman walks in and she's got a bedazzled American flag hat. She's dressed like a Trump supporter. Okay? Just painting the scene. And it looks like it's her dad or her husband going, your turn, honey.
Your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose. You can vote any way you want.
And she locks eyes with another woman voting across the hall into another voting booth. They lock eyes. And she looks like she's about to move her pen towards Donald Trump. Okay?
And no one will ever know.
Oh, and then she scribbles in Kamala.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walz.
What? Is that the new strategy? Is that how desperate they've become? Please lie to your husband. If your husband doesn't want you voting for Harris Walz, please lie. Please just tell him you voted Trump and vote for us anyway, please. What? This is, they're running this commercial. They're running this. It reeks of desperation. And I'm not shocked that they're desperate. We've seen what the campaign has turned into the past couple days. It's anybody who isn't voting for her is a Nazi. And Donald Trump made this point last night in Georgia. And he talks about how ridiculous this rhetoric has become. You know, it is the rhetoric that Donald Trump is Hitler. That's the rhetoric that almost got him assassinated. Donald Trump isn't exactly happy about it. I'll bring you what Trump said in Georgia next. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 9:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Warming up quickly. We're at 65 now. We're headed to 83 later. Got him. Metro Nashville police captured a man on their most wanted list. He's 57-year-old Ernest Wells, wanted for firing a stolen gun at a woman earlier this month. One bullet grazed the woman's head. He has also been charged with child endangerment because 2 children were in the room at the time of that shooting. Police are hoping the public can help them find the driver behind a road rage shooting that took place in September. This happened in the 300 block of Harding Place. A man driving a silver, older Ford Expedition allegedly shot into another car, injuring a 23-year-old man in the legs. The suspect is described as a white, heavyset man in his 30s, bald, with a beard and face tattoos, including a teardrop on the left side. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Well, you may remember the story about a viral trend on social media that showed people how to take advantage of an ATM glitch and withdraw money that they didn't have. Well, the bank, JP Morgan Chase, says now it's filing lawsuits.
In one case, a Houston man, over a 2-day period, was able to withdraw most of a $335,000 check, which later bounced. The bank says he still owes more than $290,000.
Chase says thousands of customers wrote fraudulent checks to themselves and then withdrew the cash before those checks bounced. Well, don't let the drill fool you. Officials at BNA announcing training exercises today through Friday that'll include controlled fires and emergency vehicles and first responders. It's all a drill to help get everyone prepared at the airport in case there is an actual emergency. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So are they saying everybody be calm? They're only lighting portions of the airport on fire as a training exercise?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, I'm just
No
trying to keep score.
concerns.
I'm just trying to keep score. Also, my wife texted me and she said she's not a fan of that Kamala Harris whisper ad.
Oh, really?
Please vote for us and don't tell your husband. She said it's awful. I'm trying to talk my wife into coming to our election night party.
Oh,
Because
she's gotta
got to
go.
come, but we got to line up a sitter first. I will tell you who is coming is our friends at the Glock store. They're coming and they're bringing the prizes. They're bringing a 3-session, it says range guard in the copy, but they don't do ranges. They do private shooting rooms with a private instructor. There's no lane ranges at the Glock store, but they're going to give you a 3-session training card as second place. Third place is the tactical hydration mugs, but first place is what everybody's been talking about. They're bringing a Take America Back Trump custom Glock, and you could win it just by showing up to our election night party at the Wilson County Fairgrounds next Tuesday. All you have to do is stop by the Glock store table to sign up to win. It's free to attend. We want to see you out there. The guys at the Glock store know everything about parties. If you're trying to throw a party, whether it's a birthday party, a retirement celebration, or even corporate team building, do it at the Glock store. You'll get a VIP room. You get a full kitchen. You get all the ammo. They'll take good care of you. Get your party started by hitting up the website, glockstore.com. And remember, the Glock store is minutes from the airport, but worth the drive from anywhere.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
The newest line from Kamala and her campaign is that everyone who isn't voting for her is a Nazi. We're Nazis. You know, years ago, my father, I had a great father, he's a tough guy. He used to always say, never use the word Nazi, never use that word. And he'd say, never use the word Hitler, don't use that word. It's like, I didn't even know why, don't use that word. And then I understood it. And yet they use that word freely, both words. They use it, he's Hitler. And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi. I don't know.
That's Donald Trump last night in Georgia. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, 939. I'm the opposite of a Nazi. But this is what they have. 7 days to go. Donald Trump is literally Hitler. Don't buy it.
It's true. My father always used to tell me, don't use the word, you don't ever use the word Nazi. And, you know, it's incredible now. The way they talk is so disgusting and just horrible the way they talk. And they don't mean it even. They just want to do, you know, they think that they can sell. They've called me everything from a mad genius looking to take over the world to a very, very stupid person. I've covered from stupid to mad genius that will eventually succeed in taking over the world. Now, these are bad people. They've covered everything. Let's see, last week, he's tired. You know what I've done this stuff now for 58 days in a row, and I don't even feel tired a little bit. Not even a little bit.
I love the way he's just hitting all the talking points that we've heard. He's tired. He's a Nazi. They have nothing. They have nothing. And that ad that I played a little while ago proves that they have nothing. I got a great text here from 3217. If you missed the ad, I'll play it in a second. Essentially, the ad is saying, you don't have to tell your husband you're voting for Trump. You can do whatever you want inside that voting booth. 3217 said, isn't that commercial degrading to women? My wife is a grown-up and capable of making her own decisions. She doesn't have to lie to me. So disgusting and disturbing. Great point. It is. It's disgusting and it's disturbing.
Your turn, honey.
And I forgot to point this out. It does appear that it looks like he's wearing some sort of veteran hat when he says, your turn, honey.
In the one place in America where women still have a right to choose. You can vote any way you want. And no one will ever know.
Did you make the right choice?
Sure did, honey.
Remember, what happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Walz.
Vote Harris Walz. What happens in the booth stays in the booth. Disgusting. Disgusting. Trump is a Nazi. Don't tell your husband that you're voting for Kamala. Why would they encourage lying to your spouse or to your father or anything? It just doesn't make any sense. But they'll say anything to win, right? They'll do anything to win.
And, you know, I said, you know, she's taking a day off. Like a couple of days ago, she took like 2 days off in a row. And I said, you know, you're running for something that's so important. And in terms of importance, it's like Super Bowl times 100, right? Super Bowl maybe times 1,000. You don't take days off. You go every single day.
Yeah, but they are. They're taking days off, and then they're demonizing Trump supporters. They're telling you to lie to your spouse and vote for Kamala anyway. That's all they have. That's all they have. And you can listen to Kamala Harris at her own rally. She's got nothing. No promises for the American people. No actual game plan on how she plans to improve the country. She can't even tell you how she's different from Joe Biden. She can't. All that they can tell you is that Trump is a Nazi and you know, also, you're a Nazi if you vote for him. You know, they've effectively labeled half the country Nazis. And Trump brings this up last night in Georgia.
But Kamala is labeling more than half of the country as the enemy combatants and she's calling them all fascists and Nazis, okay? But she's a fascist, okay? She's a fascist. How can Kamala Harris, and I don't use the name too much because nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about when I say Harris. If I said, how come Harris, and people look around, who is Harris? Kelly, they say, who is Harris? How can Kamala Harris lead America when she probably hates Americans because that's her ideology? She destroyed San Francisco. She's a very incompetent person running for president who stole the nomination from crooked Joe Biden and who's losing in the polls. She's losing in the polls. The fake news doesn't want to tell you that. The fake news doesn't want to tell you that. That's why we have to make it too big to rig, please. Too big to rig.
Exactly. It has to be too big to rig. You know, Steve Bannon was released from prison this morning. Jack Posobiec put on Twitter that he spoke with him. He said, listen, our biggest enemy right now is the couch. Our biggest enemy right now is becoming complacent. Be too big to rig. Brian in Manchester has a thought on voting and marriage. I assume this is in relation to that Kamala Harris ad. What's up, Brian?
That's exactly right, bro. I've been married 42 years to a great woman. Got 3 children, 6 grandchildren. But if I found out she voted for this evil wacko, I wouldn't love her anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Can I say that on the air?
As long as she's not listening, I think that you're going to be safe.
I have lots of friends listening, so don't tell on me. They know who I am. So, but if she did that, I can't say what I would do. So there you go.
All
Just
right.
so you know, brother.
Hey, I appreciate the call. All right, so Brian's wife would have to not tell him. He said 3 kids, 6 grandkids. That'd be it. We'd be done if you vote for Kamala Harris. Hilarious. Well, listen, I think Trump is going to win. There's actually new reporting that Trump is up in New Hampshire. You know, this is not one that they identified as a battleground state, and a Republican hasn't won it since 2000. But Mark Halperin was talking just yesterday saying, yeah, we got new polls from Michael Graham of New Hampshire Journal, and they show Trump leading in New Hampshire.
And Michael Graham joins us now with the results of a new poll, which countered most polling, including other recent polls, some other recent polls, shows New Hampshire not only close, but Michael actually has. Who's leading in your poll, Michael?
Believe it or not, in a state that Democrats have carried 7 of the last 8 times, the Granite State, Donald Trump has a massive 50.2 to 49.8 lead. So
you and I have been in colloquy for weeks, ever since Kamala Harris did an event in New Hampshire, and the Harris campaign told me absolutely has nothing to do with worry about whether she'll win New Hampshire. Then Joe Biden went to New Hampshire last week. Again, nothing to do with that. So tell us about what you think is actually going on in terms of your poll and facts on the ground.
Well, I think that if you look at the fact that they're campaigning in New Hampshire, then they're probably privy to some internal polls. We talk about that all the time. They have access to numbers that the public does not. And if Kamala's going to New Hampshire and Joe Biden's going to New Hampshire, it would lead one to believe that there's an issue with Democrats in New Hampshire.
So a month ago, New Hampshire Journal would not have published this poll. I'd have gone back to our pollster, which is Jonathan Klingler down at Mississippi State University, and said, there's no way. But a month ago, the polling, St. Anselm and others had Trump losing by about 6.5. And if you told me, and then last Thursday, Emerson came out and Trump was 50-47, losing by 3, margin of error. And then I, of course, every day tune in to the morning meeting, and I heard your reporting on this. I heard Sean's reporting, and I got the numbers, and I was stunned, and we went back. In fact, they dropped 100 samples and picked up another new 100 to test it, and this is where they were. And I said, let's go with it. And I think the 2 things that are moving in these purpley states, the big one is Kamala Harris is failing the audition for the job. She's just failing. And the other one is, I think you guys have picked up on these subterranean issues that are having effects that people aren't looking at, like these fight over trans issues, guys and girls sports. New Hampshire's kind of ground zero for that. We've had a couple of high profile cases. There's a lawsuit. There's a new law.
So New Hampshire's in play. Leaning Trump, it appears. But I think that this is, you can point to a number of things. You know, they made the point, she's failing her audition. She can't do a town hall. She won't do Joe Rogan. She asked Joe Rogan to come to her, and she'd give him an hour. Like, no. And she's failing the audition. And if she understood how powerful Rogan is, which she probably does, and she was competent, she would probably do it. But she understands how popular Rogan is, and she knows she can't do it. Her staffers know she can't do it. I would argue that if Kamala Harris sits down with Joe Rogan, you're going to have more views than when Donald Trump sat down with Joe Rogan. You just will. And that's the issue. She doesn't want to have herself exposed that way. And at the same time, she's going out on the campaign trail and just saying the same thing over and over and over again and not actually making any real game plan for how she's going to get better. So there's no promises like Trump is delivering with, tax credits for senior caregivers, like no tax on tips, like no tax on Social Security. She has nothing like that. Nothing. Except for the no tax on tips, which she stole from Trump. All she has is that Trump and her supporters are evil, fascist Nazis. That's all she has. But we understand, and you understand, and Trump understands that it's not really Kamala that we're up against. It's everything behind her.
On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, and I will fix it, and we'll fix it very fast. But we are not just running against Kamala. I'd like you to listen to this one because I believe it so strongly. She means nothing. She is purely a vessel. She can't put two sentences together. She's just like we were running against crooked Joe Biden. He was very similar, really. She never told us that. By the way, she put us in great danger because she never told us that. We're running against something far bigger and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. We know a lot of the people, don't we, huh? Don't we, Marjorie, huh? Mike, we know a lot of those people, and that's what it is. It's a radical, vicious, sick machine that's become a very permanent fixture in the Democrat Party. It's running the Democrat Party. This is who we're fighting. These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open borders policies, their record-setting inflation, their Green New scam, and everything else they're doing.
He's right. He's right. We have a much bigger enemy than Kamala Harris. I do think he left out some of the Republicans that are also in that same group. There are plenty of Republicans that are just as bad as the Democrat Party, the Uniparty. We've seen it in action. I love that Trump is taking steps, though, to circumvent these losers, like getting his transition team together 3 months early, like funding it himself, like not letting the Government Office of Accountability be involved at all, as Tulsi Gabbard said, to put moles in there for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Democrat establishment. He's taking different steps this time because I think he understands his enemy a little bit different this time. We got a lot more on the way. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Vote Common Good is responsible.
New shocking charges brought against Sean Diddy Combs. Also, what's new coming to Spring Hill that'll make golfers very happy? Those stories coming up at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Are they the two cringiest ads from the Kamala Harris campaign ever? You know, we got Doug Emhoff huddling up with Doc Rivers, and then we got the lie to your husband and vote Harris. If you want to see the ads, they're both on my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air.
I don't know. The Real Men one was pretty rough.
The Real Men one was pretty rough, wasn't it? I love when they say Kamala on 3, and then 3 out of the 4 say break, and then only Doug Emhoff yells, Kamala.
Oh. 1, 2, 3.
Kamala.
All right.
All right, guys, huddle up. 2 of you are going to be doing the exact same job. And then the other one, you're going to do something different.
But only slightly.
only very slightly. Doc Rivers. I wonder how much they paid him for that.
Not enough.
Not enough. Not enough. Watch the ads on my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air. Ron in Lebanon, real quick, man. You're up next on Super Talk.
Hey, guys. So I used to live in Ohio. So when the second round, when Trump had ran, my ex-wife had looked at me, you know, when the polls were open, and he goes, I'm only voting today to negate your vote.
Oh, jeez.
And I just looked, I was, you know, I'm a Republican, she's a Democrat. And I just looked at her and I said, you know, I want you to think of something. In the past 4 years, how much has my business flourished? How much has our business flourished? I said, you go to work, you may not like your boss on the daily basis, but you like what they do, and you like the direction that they, you know, that they take the company. Personally, you know, it is what it is. This ad that they came out with, painting men in the Republican Party as like these misogynistic guys that, you know, try to hush their wives and make them do what we want them to do. Like, that's not cool. Like, I don't know any Republican that is like that.
No, and I don't think they understand, Ron, how offensive the ad actually is. And I appreciate your call. It's very offensive. Well, my wife can figure things out. She's smart. She's voting for Trump. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 10 o'clock, and we've got 69 degrees. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Stick around for the forecast in a couple of minutes. Just crossing the wires this morning, Variety reporting on a new lawsuit filed that accuses Sean Diddy Combs of sexually assaulting a 10-year-old boy. Another suit filed yesterday accuses Combs of sexually assaulting another victim in 2008 when he was auditioning for the show Making the Band. He was 17 at the time. These are just the latest of the more than 100 lawsuits recently filed against Combs. The man charged with kidnapping and killing Memphis school teacher Eliza Fletcher pleaded guilty in court yesterday. Cleotha Abston was then sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus additional years.
This person will never be released from prison. He will die in prison. And that is a good thing for the safety of the community.
Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy. Abston reportedly changed his plea to guilty after reviewing the evidence against him. Fletcher had been out on an early morning run in September of 2022 when she disappeared. Her body was found 4 days later. Halloween is Thursday, and Channel 4's Brandon Tierney says federal transportation data ranks Tennessee as the 10th deadliest state due to the number of car crashes during trick-or-treating.
Officials say children are twice as likely to get hit by a car on Halloween than any other day of the year. So police are increasing patrols this week to make sure families out trick-or-treating stay safe. Police say kids tend to run out into the middle of the street, so it's important for drivers to look out while heading home from work.
And police remind drivers to take it slow, especially in residential areas, because that's where the kids are. Spring Hill is getting a new luxury golf course community, a 400-home community surrounding an 18-hole signature golf course and a 9-hole short course. This is going to be called Firefly. There'll be a pool and a bowling alley, too. The developer hopes to have the golf course open by the spring of 2026. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. We are slightly in the green here on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 9 points. The NASDAQ is gaining 66 and the S&P 500 index up 7 points. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. I got a drive-by hate texter. Did you see that on the text line?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't understand what he was saying.
I think he's accusing you of being a womanizer.
Doesn't that mean like you get with a lot of women?
I think so.
I don't understand it.
I don't either.
I don't understand it. He said, "Quit promoting womanizing, you effing womanizer, Chris B. Word Hand. Promoting womanization, Chris." And then I said, what? Call in. And we have yet to receive a call from 7340.
Yeah, I'll be screening. I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, we'll put you to the front of the line. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Any moments, Trump speaks after inflammatory New York City rally. That's the ticker on CNN. Inflammatory. It was an inflammatory CNN rally. Okay. I didn't think it was inflammatory. Oh, didn't you know? Didn't you know? The Nazis once held a rally there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the DNC nominated Bill Clinton there, too. So.
Also multiple concerts and games and a plethora of other things.
Have you seen the New York Knicks? New York Nazis, am I right? It's like that one guy, Karl Anthony Towns, poster child for Nazis. So yeah, 7340, call in if you want. Well, we're gonna try and jump to this Trump presser when it happens. But I do want to play this. Jon Stewart actually spilled some truth about that inflammatory New York City rally. It was so inflammatory. He talked about Tony Hinchcliffe, who had made a Puerto Rico joke, and you're not allowed to do that. You're not. Even though George Lopez can make Mexican jokes at Democrat events, that's fine. Jokes are not allowed when you're a conservative. And so Jon Stewart, surprisingly, actually takes up for the comedian that told the jokes, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Is the alarms.
The opening act, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. A comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile, so-called jokes.
That's how the news covered it, right? Okay. Jokes. All right. And let me tell you why they're actually leaning in on this. It's because Harris is losing a lot of support in the Latino community. Like a lot. More than she's comfortable with. So they heard this joke and they said, we gotta run it ad nauseum until everybody knows how racist and evil these conservatives are and how they hate Puerto Ricans. Jon Stewart, though, didn't get the message.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. She name-checked my comedy album from the 90s. Did I really? I don't know who's AI, me or that guy. Now, obviously, in retrospect, having a roast comedian come to a political rally a week before Election Day and roasting a key voting demographic, probably not the best decision by the campaign politically. But to be fair, the guy's really just doing what he does. I mean, here he is at the Tom Brady roast a few months ago.
The great Jeff Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff is so Jewish, he only watches football for the coin toss. Gronk, you look like the Nazi that kept burning himself on the ovens. Kevin is so small that when his ancestors picked cotton, they called it deadlifting.
Yes, of course. Terrible, boo, yes. There's something wrong with me. I find that guy very funny. So, I'm sorry.
Even Jon Stewart's like, guys, it's jokes, right? And he's a very popular comedian. This is his style. Deal with it.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, bringing him to a rally and have him not do roast jokes, that'd be like bringing Beyonce to a rally and not have...
Nailed it. Yeah, of course he's going to go there and do roast jokes. But, they're still covering this as like the most evil rally of all time. CNN, any moment, Trump speaks after inflammatory New York City rally. Inflammatory. You know who was there that's been on the show before? Topher. He's a rapper. Black Nazi, apparently. I don't know. There's a lot of Jewish folks there, too. A lot of Chinese folks. Nazis. all of them. Nazis. Now,
Nazis.
It's just the Nazis doing Nazi stuff. I mean, really what's happening is that the Democrats are losing. They're losing, and they're scared, and so the blame game is beginning. Breitbart.com has this story, and it's a good one. They're talking about how donors have actually taken over the Democrat Party. There's this exclusive interview they have with an ex-Dem fundraiser, and saying that ex-fundraiser saying out-of-touch Democrats and donors took over the party, coronated Kamala, and abandoned the working class. Big donors have taken over the Democrat Party, which has sidelined its democratic process and become completely out of touch with the needs of the working class, which they have now lost, according to a newly former Democrat campaign operative and fundraiser, Evan Barker. Barker's disillusionment deepened during the recent DNC convention, which she described as a giant corporate infomercial, where she witnessed big money influence overshadowing the party's democratic process with the coronation of Kamala Harris at the behest of elite donors. So she sat down with Breitbart for an exclusive interview. And she says that the donor class of coronation of Kamala was just the turning point for her. She said, I was truly hoping to see a contested convention, referring to a process where candidates present platforms directly to voters, and then there's a final selection. Instead, she saw what she describes as a coronation. Yep. She said, I really, really wanted to see a bunch of different people get on stage and just be forced to say what they stand for, what their vision was for the party, and then have people vote on that. I thought that could have been a really incredible moment for them. Instead, they did exactly what they always do, just like they did to Bernie multiple times by not even allowing a primary this year and simply coronating Kamala Harris. There's a lot of Democrats that are still feeling the burn. And the way Bernie was treated back in 2016 for Hillary Clinton and the way Bernie was treated in the primaries in 2020, they're still very upset about that. And Barker voiced frustration with what she saw as the party's contradiction between its rhetoric and its actions. Oh, contradiction between the rhetoric and the actions. Yeah, we've seen this. So it's just so laughable to see so much hypocrisy there after all I've heard from Democrats for the past few years that democracy is on the ballot and how Trump is trying to end it. So why aren't they giving us any real reflection of democracy here, she questioned. You're not giving people any choice. She's absolutely right. Democrat voters should be just as mad as this former Democrat donor / operative, Miss Barker. She should be. Democrat voters should be. There are a lot of people very upset at the Washington Post. I wish they were more upset at their political party. You know, the Washington Post is getting people canceling left and right. Have you seen that? Like thousands of people canceling their subscription because Jeff Bezos, evil Jeff, didn't want the Washington Post to endorse a candidate for president. I also think it's important to point out Jeff Bezos owns Whole Foods. Kamala Harris pushing price gouging, price controls, right, for grocery stores. It's no wonder he wouldn't want to be on Team Kamala. But he put out a column in the Washington Post, and it's called The Hard Truth, Americans Don't Trust the News Media. And he drops some gems. He does. He says, in the annual public surveys about trust and reputation, journalists and the media have regularly fallen near the very bottom, often just above Congress. But in this year's Gallup poll, we have managed to fall below Congress. Our profession is now the least trusted of all. Something we are doing is clearly not working. Now, listen, you're late to the party, but we're glad you're here. The majority of Americans don't trust the media. This is why you're seeing Joe Rogan and Trump get, what are we at now? Is it still around 33 million? And that's just on the YouTube interview. That doesn't count the Spotify views. That doesn't count the clip views. Americans are turning away from legacy media in droves. And Jeff Bezos says he understands why. He says, let me give you an analogy. Voting machines must meet two requirements. They must count the vote accurately, and people must believe they count the vote accurately. The second requirement is distinct from and just as important as the first. Likewise with newspapers. We must be accurate, and we must be believed to be accurate. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but we're failing on the second requirement. You can make the argument you're failing on both requirements, and this actually leads into you failing on the second requirement, right? Even in that small statement, you're not entirely accurate. That's the problem. Bezos says it's a bitter pill to swallow, but we're failing on the second requirement. Most people believe the media is biased. Anyone who doesn't see this is paying scant attention to reality, and those who fight reality lose. Reality is an undefeated champion. It would be easy to blame others for our long and continuing fall in credibility and therefore decline in impact. But a victim mentality will not help. Complaining is not a strategy. We must work harder to control what we can control to increase our credibility. He goes on to say presidential endorsements do nothing to tip the scales of an election. No undecided voters in Pennsylvania are going to say, I'm going with newspaper A's endorsement. None. What presidential endorsements actually do is create a perception of bias, a perception of non-independence. Ending them is a principled decision, and it's the right one. I agree with what? I don't know. I'd say around 75% of what he said there. 75%. The part that I really didn't agree with is when he said that they're only failing on the second requirement when it comes to being accurate and being believed to be accurate. I think that you can say you fail to be accurate quite often. Quite often, you fail to be accurate. You know, we're seeing a lot of newspapers not jumping in to endorse. It was the Washington Post, the LA Times, and now the USA Today is also refusing to endorse a presidential candidate. I like to see legacy media failing. I do. I like to see them trying to course correct where they're at. Too little, too late currently. But, you know, hey, at least they're doing something about it. On the flip side, TV news is terrible. Mario Knopfel put out this tweet from with the source from the Media Research Center study. TV news hits a bias high. Their bias is at an all-time high. The coverage in the past few weeks, since July, has been 78 positive for Kamala, 78% positive coverage for Kamala, and 85% negative coverage for Trump. And this includes all the major networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC. They have delivered the most unbalanced election coverage in history, according to the Media Research Center. Networks spent 31% of Trump coverage on controversies, while only dedicating 5% of Kamala coverage to critical topics. If it was flipped, right? If the way coverage was done was flipped, what you would see on TV today would be the Tim Walz sleeping with a Chinese communist official's daughter in the 80s, right? You'd see that wall to wall. You'd see them insinuating Chinese ties, which you could make the argument, right? You could absolutely make the argument. If the roles were reversed, the story of Doug Emhoff slapping his ex-girlfriend so hard that she spun around would still be in the news. It would still be in the news. 100%. 100%. Are you kidding? It would be everywhere. She'd be getting primetime interviews. If the coverage was reversed, maybe we'd get some critical media people saying, why aren't you doing an interview with Joe Rogan? Why can't you sit down for 3 hours and explain your positions? Why can't you sit down for 3 hours and just be a human? Why can't you? Jeff Bezos makes the point that people are seeing through this. I tend to think he's right there. And I know that you're seeing through it. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be listening to WTN unless you're one of the hate listeners, to which I say call in. But you never do. The hate listeners never do. But voters are seeing through it. And I got some audio on the way that you are going to enjoy. Philadelphia voters, sound off on how phony Kamala Harris is. And this is on MSNBC. It's on MSNBC. It's actually pretty funny. You're going to want to hear it. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I got to tell you about my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Have you gotten your heater serviced yet? The right way? The Busy Bee way? Well, if not, you're waiting for a problem to pop up with your system. You just are. I mean, right now, this time of year, we're kicking between the AC and the heat. Maybe sometimes in the same day. You're putting a lot of strain on that system. Get it serviced the right way, the Busy Bee way. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. And when you call them, don't just say, I want the annual maintenance. You tell them, I want to sign up for the Beehive Club membership, because that's the best value. For only $99, you get 3 annual tune-ups, 1 for your heating, 1 for your cooling, 1 for your plumbing. You get a 10% discount on all repairs. You get priority front-of-the-line service. They'll give you $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000 off the bat. So that way, if your system goes out and you've been a Beehive Club member for 10 years, you get $1,000 off. It's paying for itself, plus no overtime or holiday fees. Again, that's only $99. Busy Bee is your Rude Pro partner. For satisfaction guaranteed, you just got to call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or hit the website, busybeehvac.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Metro Nashville police capture a man on their most wanted list. Also, if you're hoping to get an absentee ballot this time around, better get moving. Those stories coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Newscast coming up at 10:30. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Right now, Trump is speaking down at Mar-a-Lago, and this just makes me want to tune in more because the ticker on CNN says, Trump again alleges Dems stole 2020 election. It's like, yeah, you can make the argument without even getting into voting machines that they stole the 2020 election. We could do that another time. Let's tune into Trump. Let's turn this guy up. You got
Very
it?
shameful and really inexcusable. And I can say that if I were president and somebody was being threatened, openly threatened like they've threatened me, I would say, if you do that, even if this was an opponent who I disliked, if you do that, we will obliterate your entire country, and it would all stop. But they wouldn't make that statement. They won't make that statement. And essentially, that statement has been made by other presidents, even concerning their opponents, as you know. Today, we're going to talk about the real character of Kamala, and a person who has no remorse for the anguish she's inflicted upon families all across America. On the contrary, I have to tell you, Kamala intends to conflict and keep this misery going, and she's going to keep it going as long as she can, because that's the only way she can get elected. She's going out and only criticizing, talking about Hitler and Nazi, and because her record's horrible.
Facts.
Her borders are the worst in the history of the world.
Facts.
There's never been a border in the world like this. I always say in third world countries, banana republics, they'd fight them away with sticks and stones if they had to. We let them come in, come on in. Knowing in many cases they're murderers, they're drug lords, they're traitors in so many ways to our country. If they were involved in our country at all, even that, they're coming back in. People that left because they were traitors are coming back in. Everybody's
So the
coming
funniest
back
thing
in.
about CNN running this right now
And
is
it's at a level-
they keep changing the ticker. So it says Trump, Dems perhaps even trying to destroy our country. It's like, yeah, have you seen the southern border? Have you seen it?
Is down 70 and 75% because they're taking the criminals off the street. They're emptying their jails into our country. And they're not finished yet. I'm amazed. I thought they would have done it by now, but if you take a look at Venezuela, their crime is way, way, way down. Then you go to Caracas and you wouldn't recognize it. You can actually walk the streets without being shot or killed or mugged. It's becoming a safe city because they've taken all their criminals. Most of them, the rest are coming. They're all coming. They've taken their drug dealers and they've put them into the United States of America. Thank you very much, Kamala. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kamala. Thank you. Thank you.
She continues, and she will continue this misery, and her policies have caused such harm and such pain. And the three great people up here with me are going to just discuss that for a little while about what's happened.
On this ticker now, it says other countries, and then in quotations, emptying their jails into our country. It's like, is that? I feel like that's been proven time and time again, has it not? These people, you don't hate legacy media enough. You just don't.
People in very similar situations every day under Kamala, open border policies. And if you remember, Joe Biden appointed her as the borders
We're
are.
going to dip
She doesn't
out
want
of
there it
Trump's
is. Now
remarks there.
CNN is dipping out.
Do you
hear that?
Claims.
Oh, he's making a number of false claims.
Interrupt what he is saying for a few moments and go straight to Daniel Dale. Our fact checker.
We can't
Daniel,
allow Donald Trump to speak freely, right? What a bunch of clowns. What a bunch of clowns. CNN, legacy media. You don't hate them enough. Trump again falsely claiming Dems stole the 2020 election. Like, okay, all right. Like, we can make the argument based on the censorship on Facebook and Twitter. We don't have to get to voting machines. We don't.
But yet on CNN last night, did you see this? Congressman Debbie Dingell telling Jake Tapper that Trump's going to open internment camps.
Yeah. Oh, that's totally fine.
Yeah, totally true.
Totally
So,
fine. He's
yeah.
going to round you up. Actually, yesterday Whoopi Goldberg was saying that not only is he's going to deport people, but he's gonna break up interracial marriages. He'll leave the white people behind and deport the brown ones. These people are not well. They're not well. I do think we played this clip a couple weeks ago. Mark Halperin was on the Tucker Carlson podcast, and he said if Trump wins, you're going to see a psychotic break in this country. Half the country is so infected with TDS, they are not going to be able to handle it. So we'll try and cover some of Trump live when we get back. If some of these news networks are covering it live, we'll pull it up and we'll get it on the air for you. If not, I'll bring you what voters are saying about Kamala Harris. Voters from Philadelphia and Arizona weighing in. We'll do that on the way. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10:30 here, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're sitting still at 69 degrees, sunshine. We'll get up to 83 later on. Got him. Metro Nashville police capturing a man on their most wanted list. He is 57-year-old Ernest Wells, wanted for firing a stolen gun at a woman earlier this month. One bullet grazed her head. He's also been charged with child endangerment because 2 children were in the room at the time of that shooting. An investigation underway in Middle Tennessee after a fire gutted the old Palmer Elementary School in Grundy County. Investigators now asking nearby residents if they have any security camera footage that could help them find whoever set fire to the structure. It's been completely demolished. Investigators say that over the summer, they worked 9 other fires in the Palmer area. Well, today's the last day that voters can request an absentee ballot in Tennessee, and early voting ends on Thursday. Channel 4 talked to voters about how long the early voting is taking them.
I can tell you that I only waited in line 15 minutes altogether. I think it was quicker today, but because previous days before today, they've been lined up all the way down the road. So I was just lucky.
As of Friday, about 1.5 million Tennesseans have voted early. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. A mixed bag on Wall Street. Dow Jones Industrials down 50, but the Nasdaq up 80, and the S&P 500 index is up 7 points. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, you put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
Doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
The American public is outraged that Kamala is importing savage criminals who assault, rape, murder our women and our girls. I'm sorry to say that. But that's what's happening. Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office.
That's Trump last night in Georgia, and he's absolutely right. She doesn't belong anywhere near the Oval Office. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Trump is giving a press conference right now. We're going to rejoin it live in a minute, but real quick, one of the things that CNN pulled away from was this video that Trump was playing about Jocelyn Nungaray. And I've seen him play this a couple times at rallies, and one of the things that always strikes me is that Trump is unable to watch the video. He never actually watches this video. He kind of puts his head down, and he looks away, and he kind of like looks to the crowd. And I honestly think it's because it chokes him up. And the Trump team produced this video with Jocelyn's mother. It's about 3 minutes long, but CNN cut away from it. They didn't want you to see it on CNN. You know, I wonder why. Maybe because it exposes the realities of Kamala's open border. And the realities of Kamala's open border sound like this.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungaray are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
That's the video that CNN didn't want you to see. That's what they pulled away from. So that way they could say Trump was lying. Even now, the chyron on CNN, the little ticker on the bottom of the screen says, Trump falsely claims nations are emptying their jails into our country. It's like, who are you lying to? We see right through this. 13,000 known murderers released into the country. Sexual assaulters known, released into the country. Terrorists known, released into the country. These people are evil. It's evil. And they'll tell you that Trump is lying. Trump's not telling the truth. You know, I had been torn on whether or not I should play this clip, but I think I will, actually. You know, there was an illegal alien in Florida, and he had gotten a woman, and he was attempting to rape her until police intervened. And when you hear the screams on the body cam footage, it honestly puts things into a different light, because you can feel that fear, and you can hear the terror. And it really kind of puts you into that firsthand, like, wow, this is the evil that the Democrats are allowing to happen on our soil.
Hey,
He's trying to rape me. Can you help
get off her now.
Help me.
Get off her now.
Give us the channel.
Thank God. Thank you.
Don't you f***ing move. Don't you f***ing move.
Come here, dude. You're good. 21 says a clear channel.
That happened in Florida. This Florida woman reportedly called 911 while pretending to order pizza as a call for help. It was like around 4 a.m. And when the dispatcher figured out what was happening, they sent police to the location immediately. This is happening all over the country. This happened to a 12-year-old girl. She wasn't so lucky. The media doesn't even want to talk about it. The media doesn't want to show it. The media wants to tell you that Trump is lying, and it's just pure evil. It's pure evil, man. Pure evil. How do you describe it any other way? How do you describe it any other way? And every day we get more and more stories. Just because we're in the campaign cycle doesn't mean that the border is secure. Just yesterday I saw a story. An illegal immigrant who's a member of MS-13 gang has been arrested for a double homicide. Every day we get this. That we had an illegal alien in Chicago shoot a Jewish man and yelled Allahu Akbar. So at what point do you ask yourself, is this a terror attack or is this migrant crime? Or is it both? Is it both? Illegal immigrant shoots, injures Orthodox Jewish man in Chicago, yells Allahu Akbar during shootout with police. Sidi Mohammed Abdali was charged with 14 felonies, including 6 counts of first degree and attempted murder. What would you classify that as? Migrant crime? Domestic Islamic terrorism? How would you classify that? It's insane. But Kamala is not going to change that. Kamala is going to continue these policies and push for mass amnesty. There's only one guy that's going to change it, and it's Trump. And Trump's saying he's going to have mass deportations. That's how you fix it. That's how you fix it. You know, it was going viral. We played it on the show yesterday. Tom Homan was on 60 Minutes, and it's been going massively viral. They said, you know, they're trying to bait him into these questions. They're like, well, how do you deport people without separating families? And he said, well, that's easy. You deport the whole family. Listen, we have to get this country back under control. We have to get the border back under control, and we're not going to by pretending that nothing is happening. We're not going to. The legacy media is not going to have our back pretending nothing is happening. They're not. But currently, they're saying that Trump is falsely claiming that other countries are emptying their prisons. It's a false claim, you see. False claim. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that they would lie like that. Not surprising, but disgusting. This is Tom Homan on 60 Minutes.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Easy enough. Easy enough. That's how you do it. Tom Homan continued on 60 Minutes, and he pushed back against the idea that mass deportations are somehow racist.
I hear a lot of people say, you know, the talk of a mass deportation is racist, It's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community. But on the heels of historic illegal immigration crisis, that has to be done.
He's right. He's right. And you can talk to any of the families who have been affected by this. Every town's becoming a border town. Every state's becoming a border state under Kamala Harris. Every single one of them. You know, and 60 Minutes pushed back on Tom Homan. They're like, is this even a real idea? Have you guys even thought this out? Is this fully baked, is what she says to Tom Homan. Is this fully baked?
How many people would be deported?
You can't answer that question.
Why not?
How many officers do I have?
Is there a written plan on this?
Not that I know of.
If there's no memo, if there's no plan, is this fully baked?
We've done it before.
But not a deportation of this scale.
ICE is very good at these operations.
I love how her argument against it is, well, you've never done it at this scale, so why even try? Why even try? You've never done it like this before. Why even try? Because we have to get our country back. We have to. Dave in Hendersonville on illegals. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You know, that audio you just played, and then I want this to go out to all the Christians that want to not vote and set this back.
Yep.
That audio that you just played could be their granddaughter.
Yeah.
Could be their daughter.
100%.
Could be their sister.
Yep.
Could be their mother. And by you Christians, and I consider myself a Christian, by you Christians sitting at home not voting, you might as well be voting for it.
Yep.
You might as well be agreeing with it. Because your vote, literally, in this election, your vote can literally solve the problem. Your vote can literally save children's lives from being abducted, strangled, murdered. And it goes way worse than that, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But your vote will literally put an end to that problem. If you want to sit home and not vote, you become part of the problem.
You're absolutely right, Dave.
You can stop it.
Yep. I hear you, man. I appreciate your call. John and Dixon, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, John?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I just wanted to say that in Poland, I believe it's Poland, they shoot anybody trying to cross the border illegally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, desperate times call for desperate measures, right? I think that we could probably do it without shooting people coming across the border.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't agree with that.
But I support a massive military buildup on our border. I think that we need to militarize that border and secure it. I think we have the money,
Yep.
we have the resources, we have the manpower. We have a great military. Get it done. Let's get it done.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Yeah, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Yep. As hard as it may be, and I appreciate the call, John. I think the optics are going to be tough, right? And we don't make any mistake about it. When the mass deportation plan kicks off, you're going to see that crying little girl on CNN. You're going to, and it's going to be repeated over and over and over again, and they're going to try to attack this with the optics. But I would just say, okay, why didn't you play Jocelyn Nungary's story over and over again? Why didn't you play Lake and Riley's story over and over again? Why didn't you play Rachel Marin's story over and over again? They're going to try and do an optics war when the mass deportations happen. So it still needs to happen. 100% still needs to happen. Donald Trump is the guy for that job because when he wins, guys, he only has one term. He doesn't have to have an eye towards a second term. He's going to do what needs to be done. Optics be damned. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Got an injury crash. This is going to be Harding Pike north of Woodlawn Drive and then 4th Avenue and Lafayette Street. America's top counterintelligence official has a warning. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. CNN covering Donald Trump speaking after an inflammatory New York City rally. I wish they would have the same energy for jokes with the southern border and the crime and destruction and devastation that's been caused by Kamala Harris and the Democrats. I played you the clip that they cut away from with Jocelyn Nungary, but then I was reminded of this clip with Rachel Marin's mother, and it's a little long, so we'll probably get to the news late. All right, well, let's play it on the other side. Mason, give me a look. We'll play it on the other side. You're going to want to hear this.
Just because I want to be able to spend enough time with it. It's such an important
I know, I don't want to rush it either.
Yeah.
We played the Jocelyn Nungary audio with her mom speaking out. I'm going to play the audio with Rachel Marin's mom speaking out next. And ask yourself, why don't the Democrats have the same energy for loss of life because of the wide open southern border as they do for mean jokes at a rally? It's disgusting. We'll hear from Rachel Marin's mother next. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot this Tuesday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now, America's top counterintelligence official is warning that foreign actors are targeting tech companies. Mike Dubusky with the details.
Mike Casey, the chief counterintelligence officer for the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, says there's been a large uptick in spies looking to get information out of American tech companies. He says China in particular is looking to steal technology that would hinder competition and bolster China's military. They do this, he says, by setting up proxy companies that look real and can fool tech employees into divulging secretive information.
Yeah, the U.S. warning was one of 5 released this week from American allies aimed at encouraging tech companies to choose security from the start. For the last 5 years, here in Nashville, Metro Police have been working on creating a cold case website, and today that site is up and running.
Amber Posey is hoping it'll help solve the murder of her daughter Ashanti from 4 years ago.
I know there's somebody out there that knows something. They just need that extra push to come forward.
She says her daughter was driving with a friend when someone shot into their car, killing Ashanti. But no suspect has ever been named. Cold case detective Matthew Filter talking to Channel 4.
When the case turns cold, it can be extremely difficult to solve.
The idea of the website is to give witnesses an alternate way to report what they know about a case without feeling the pressure. The website is NashvilleColdCase.gov. Joan Jones, WTN News.
Another casual dining chain restaurant is closing some of its locations. TGI Fridays says it will focus on retooling its brand as many Americans are opting to cook at home rather than dine out. Here's Elizabeth Schulze.
TGI Fridays is reportedly closing 50 of its roughly 200 locations in the past week as it considers filing for bankruptcy. The company didn't respond to our request for comment, but local reports say that some of these locations closing are in California, Pennsylvania, New Jersey.
Yeah, TGI Fridays has admitted this year it needs to revitalize the brand amid slowing sales. So your airline flight is delayed or, heaven forbid, canceled? As of today, Jim Ryan says you have options.
Before now, if you'd been booked on a flight that was disrupted, the airline would routinely offer you a flight voucher or credit toward a future ticket. New rules have just gone into effect that require the airlines to automatically issue cash refunds for flights that are canceled or significantly delayed. And the Transportation Department now defines significant as 3 hours for domestic flights, 6 for international flights.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a Guaranteed Offer and start packing.
11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. How are you doing? I'm good. Thanks for asking. So we were talking about CNN. They had the Trump remarks from Mar-a-Lago on, and they cut away. He was speaking too much truth. They had to label it as lies. They were too upset with him having a comedian say an evil, vile, racist joke at his rally in Madison Square Garden. That's what they've been covering. He's evil. You know that, right? I made the comment, I wish they would keep that same energy when it comes to the evil that we're seeing come across our southern border. They cut away from Trump. They didn't want to play the video from Jocelyn Nungaray and her mother. They didn't want Americans hearing that. And I don't think they want Americans hearing this. You know, that Jocelyn Nungaray video reminded me of the video of Rachel Marin's mother. And it was really Dave in Hendersonville kind of triggered me to want to play this again. I've played it before, and it's not something you see on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC. You're not going to see it. You just won't. They're too busy telling you how evil Trump is. But Dave in Hendersonville called in. He made the point. He's like, where are the Christians at? The Christians that are sitting out. Are you paying attention to what's happening when a 12-year-old girl like Jocelyn Nungaray loses her life, or when a mother of 5, Rachel Marin, loses her life? And I would say to the Christians out there that are going to sit this one out, and we've had people text into the show that listen to the show that they're Christians and they just can't bring themselves to vote for Trump. I would ask you to listen to this and tell me how you can be so complacent.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Absolutely. We don't want it to happen to other people. That's all.
No.
So, big thanks.
Yeah. Hi. I was just thanking President Trump for the invitation to come and to share Rachel's story. Rachel was 37 years old. She had 5 children. She worked. She owned a small business. She worked very hard to support her family. And the trail that Rachel ran daily was a trail that we as a family would walk over the last 25 years that we've lived in Maryland. It's a very safe, small trail, very public, very open. Moms with baby carriages go down this trail. It's very safe. I was in Kentucky. We had a grandbaby that had passed away. When I got a phone call from my son, and he said, "Mom, there's somebody here that would like to speak to you." And when I said hello, the person on the other end said, "Hello, Mrs. Morin. This is Detective so-and-so. I'm the lead detective on this case. There's no easy way to tell you this, but we found your daughter's body. And if they find the body, you know that she's dead. But they wouldn't say, 'We found Rachel, she's alive.'" And so they found my daughter's body. And when they found it, just recently has come out that she was brutally beaten, raped, and then stuffed into a drain pipe. We're 18,000 miles, 1,800 miles from the border. And because of this open border, we've had not just my daughter, but we've actually had 2 in the same county that we're from, where illegal immigrants have come in and have caused rape and murder of our citizens. And the reason why I came here today and I accepted the invitation is because I really want our words to be heard, and I really want you to take to heart what we're saying. We're not here for a political stand, although we are. We're here because we're losing our moms, our daughters, our children to criminals. And that shouldn't happen. We should be taking care of our country, our people. And the only way I believe that's going to happen is if President Trump is reelected as president, and we close up this border and we put policies back into place that were there before, instead of this open border thing. We're just going to We're going to end up being a third world country if it continues this way. And I hope, I hope that you would just take my words to heart, because it's devastating to lose a child, but even more devastating when you see the pictures or you see the body and you really understand what's happened to that person. So please take to heart, this is a very, very important issue, and it's one that is either going to make or break our country. It's not so much, it's about America, it's about Americans, it's about us taking and protecting ourselves and looking out for each other. It's about protecting our families. So, thank you. Thank you.
That was the story of Rachel Marin, as told by her mother. And it's important to hear that. It really is. And I hope any Christians out there that are thinking about sitting this election out hear that and understand what's at stake here. You have to understand what's at stake here. We can't sit back and watch the polls and feel the vibes and the momentum and the energy and not do anything. We got 7 days left. Make phone calls. Talk to people. We need this to be too big to rig. We need to win this for Rachel Marin's mother and her children. We need to win this for Jocelyn Nungry's mother and family. We have to. We need to win this so that way it doesn't happen to your family next. We have to. We have to. And Christians out there who say they can't vote for Trump because he's immoral, what are you doing? Do you not understand what's happening at the southern border? Do you not understand? It's heartbreaking. And people are going to sit this one out. I don't understand how you could. I just don't. Samantha in Smithville, you're up next on Kamala and her open border. What's up, Sam?
Hey, so I'm glad you led into that with what you just said. I get really aggravated. I'm a Christian, and I get really aggravated when I get told, well, you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, and what about showing love, and I'm like, but the Lord also gave us some common sense.
Yep.
You can't show love when you're dead.
I know.
And so, that just really irritates me when that's used as an excuse. But I did want to ask about this, or kind of make a point about it and see what your thoughts. So the last interview I remember seeing Kamala do, they were talking about the Border Patrol union did not endorse her.
Yep.
They endorsed Trump. And they asked her, why was that, or I don't remember how they worded the question, but she said something to the effect of, well, they're just tired. They're wore out.
Yep.
And I get it. And I was sitting there thinking, if you get it, then why have you not done anything about it?
Honestly.
So that's just I just wanted to kind of see what you thought about that. Because I know Trump has said that he plans to hire, I think it was 10,000 new Border Patrol agents. And I think that's what he said, I believe. But anyways, she keeps saying that her job was to find the root causes of, the issue with the border. But she never did any of that. Her idea of the root causes were people were looking for a better life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they are, but if they really want a better life, they're going to do whatever it takes, and that means going through all of the steps in order to become a citizen. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were.
No, I hear you. I mean, listen, we have to just enforce the laws on the books. And this bipartisan border bill that they always go back to it's just such a scam. There was $60 billion in there for Ukraine. Like, it was a huge scam. 100% a scam. It would have let 1 million people into the country every year before they could even do anything about the illegal crossings. It's a scam. They never addressed the fact that they, through executive order, ended Remain in Mexico, reinstated catch and release. They never have to answer the question, why did you sue Arizona to take down their shipping container border wall? Why did you sue Texas to remove the razor wire? Why did you sue Texas to remove the buoys the buoy barrier in the Rio Grande. Nobody ever gets to ask Kamala Harris those questions. It's disgusting. But we see the impact of this wide open southern border. And people might sit this election out. How? Kevin in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Kev? Oh, Kevin hung up. If Kevin calls back, let's get him to the front of the line. 615-737-9986. Yeah, what are the root causes of migration? That's what Kamala was supposed to fix. She didn't fix anything. She didn't fix anything. And we see it. We see it. There's headlines every day. Every single day, there's more and more headlines. Kamala sat down with Shannon Sharpe for an interview. She did that's her big podcast, Shannon Sharpe. Does Shannon ask her about Jocelyn Nungary? Does Shannon ask her about Rachel Marin, Lake and Riley? Does Shannon ask her why they sued Arizona to remove the shipping container border wall, or why they sued Texas all the times that they did? No. She doesn't get real questions. She doesn't. She just doesn't. She did have this to say about the border, which I think is a slap in the face to Rachel Marin's family, and I think it's a slap in the face to Jocelyn Nungary's family.
My record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border and making sure that there is not that kind of trafficking into America.
She said, I'd put my record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border.
I put my record up to anybody in terms of how strongly I feel about having a secure border.
How I feel. All right, I'm not dealing with your feelings. I'm looking at your actions. And your actions have been abysmal at best. Aiding and abetting at best. Teresa in Nashville, you're up next on Super Talk. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for calling.
One of the things that irritates me, and I'm a Christian, but irritates me about the Christians, they're so quick to judge. Jesus came to forgive sin, and none of us have sin in our life that was not at one time forgiven. We don't know Trump's heart. Yeah, he might not have been the greatest person in the past, but we need to learn to forgive. And especially this, the Pope said the lesser of the two evils. I don't look at it that way. I look at what's going to be best for America.
Yep. I'm with you.
And I can get over bias.
I'm sorry?
I said I can get over a biased opinion on, well, I don't think he should have done this, or Christian wouldn't have done that. That's not our call.
No, I'm with you. And point to a figure in the Bible who wasn't a sinner that God didn't raise up, honestly. David in Kentucky, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Dave?
Yeah, I got a question. As I listen to these terrible, heart-wrenching stories of these mothers or siblings of folks that have been killed by these illegal monsters that are in our country. I wonder if any of these folks have, and I know everybody's different. We look at things different, but I'm thinking if some of these folks that get attacked like that, if they were packing like most of us, a lot of us are, it would sure give them an advantage when something like that happened. And I would love to hear. Not love to hear. I don't like to hear of anybody attacked, but a story of someone potentially getting attacked and being able to defend himself, and the perpetrator wind up suffering
the consequences. Suffering the consequences.
And,
no, I mean, listen.
You can't make people arm themselves and attack, but the way things are right now, it might have to be like that for a while till Trump gets in there and get some of his stuff.
I hear where you're at, man. And listen, you got to keep your head on a swivel out there, and your protection is going to be your own responsibility. I get that, especially for adults. I think in the case of Jocelyn Nungary, who's only 12, that rings a little hollow.
Yes.
But this is America.
Yes,
you should be able to go for a jog on a public trail and not.
100%.
100%. It's like you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. And
That's
we
exactly right.
We used to be better than that.
You're exactly right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hey, appreciate the call, Dave. Greg in the Borough, real quick on Super Talk. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. I love your show. I left the federal prison system some years back, and I was case manager when I retired. And half my caseload was MS-13 from El Salvador, and all we knew that they were in there for illegal reentry and everything. And we'd fly them back to El Salvador, and they'd come right back. I'd see them the next year and everything. And it's just you definitely got to remove that element. There's got to be better ways of citizenship for the United States. It takes too long for the ones that don't, like the young lady on 60 Minutes that want to have to take her mom and dad back to Mexico. They're not committing no crimes in the United States. We got to better our citizenship and get more judges to hear these cases. The criminals won't go for those hearings anyway. So
yeah, I mean, listen, there's so many cases where DHS had these guys in custody and then they let them go anyway after knowing that they were on some sort of watch list. So many cases. The illegal alien that tried to infiltrate Quantico comes to mind. They knew he was on a watch list when they had him at the border. Then they knew he was on a watch list after they arrested him and he tried to break into Quantico, and they released him both times. I think that we just need to enforce a lot of the laws that are on the books and be better at this stuff. It seems like a lot of these guys have their hands tied by the current administration. It's 11:23 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Former President Trump just blistered Vice President Kamala Harris on illegal immigration. I'll let you hear it at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. Looking forward to that. It's 11:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. You know, with all the news, I do think a lot of voters are seeing through the BS. And MSNBC caught up with some voters in Philadelphia. And Philly voters were asked to sound off on Kamala Harris, and they responded by essentially saying she's a phony. She's a phony. That's how they responded to MSNBC. Oh, you want to give me some audio?
About Kamala Harris.
She's a woman of color. I'm not putting her down because of that, and I'm not putting her down because she's a woman. I'm not a feminist, so I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, I don't think that she has the personality. I don't think that she has what it takes to go up against Putin and go up against these other presidents that are built for this. I don't want to be scared because my president is scared. I want my president to feel secure and manly and about it.
We brought up gender, right? Like, do you think it matters that she's a woman and people aren't comfortable having a woman in a top leadership role?
No, I don't think that, because most men, they love their mothers. They love their wives. So as a woman, most men, they respect the woman, but she just don't have the qualification or the education to really run America.
Where's the lie? You know, I don't think this is what MSNBC thought when they were going into this. It looks like a beauty salon of some sort in Philadelphia. It looks like a black-owned business. I don't think that they were ready for these answers. But I love to see that people are waking up. She's not qualified. She couldn't do the one job that Joe Biden gave her, which was secure the southern border. If she can't handle problems domestically, how is she going to handle foreign policy? She's not.
Because she don't have the experience. She don't understand our struggles. And for me to believe you for another 4 years, you're crazy. Right. Like, you're crazy. You're saying the same thing that you said 4 years ago.
So the fact that she's the vice president
That's
to
just
you
the
is
bottom line.
You're like, you've been here, you've had a chance.
Yes. Well, for me, the very first time I ever heard the name Kamala Harris, it was in association to locking up parents for truancy.
I love that she brings that up. Listen, the first time I heard of her, she was locking up parents because their kids were late to school.
That was the first time I ever heard of her name. And I really didn't understand how this person claims to be a black woman, but yet she's locking up black women and black men and separating families.
Yeah. Where's the lie? She was also locking up black people for marijuana at a crazy rate and laughing about it when she was asked if she smoked weed. You know, I go back to the National Association of Black Journalists where Trump goes, I don't know, is she black? I just found that out. And I remember at the time being like, that plays so well in the black community. It's going to hit. It's going to strike a chord. And this clip of Philadelphia voters who just happen to be black reaffirms my thoughts there.
This is the thing that is, Trump talks about this a lot. He says, you know, Kamala Harris became black when it was convenient.
Right. Yep.
Can you talk to me about, do you agree with him on that? Do you feel like she's wearing her blackness?
Absolutely. She's sworn into when she sworn to the Senate, it was as the first Indian American.
Thank you.
Which is, it's fine. We don't care.
We all know she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
I love that. Listen, we all know she's not black, says this woman. Let's be clear of that. We all understand that. But the main issue is she's in the office right now. The main issue is that she's not doing the job.
No, she's not black. Let's understand that. We are all clear of that. But my point of view, like I told you earlier, she's already been there. She's in office right now.
And she's not doing it. It's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 5 minutes. Election 2024. Today is the last day to request an absentee ballot in Tennessee. Early voting runs through Thursday night before Election Day, which will be Tuesday. Now, right now in Florida, former President Trump preparing to travel to Pennsylvania from Mar-a-Lago. but he hammered Vice President Kamala Harris on illegal immigration on the way out the door.
A total train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. She's destroyed everything. She left 21 million aliens pour across our country, and then she, maybe in a short while, has to go home, and she'll get herself a job someplace, who knows.
Meanwhile, the president mentioned some investigations into potential voter fraud in Pennsylvania. York County in Pennsylvania looking into an overabundance of voter registration forms and requests for mail ballots that were sent to the elections office after another county received thousands of voter registration forms that were flagged for potential fraud. Vice President Harris tonight in Washington, D.C. will give what her campaign is calling her closing argument speech with 1 week until Election Day. With the White House as her backdrop, Harris is expected to urge voters to turn the page on Trump and pledge to put country over party. Here in Tennessee, Spring Hill's getting a new luxury golf course community. It's a 400-home community surrounding an 18-hole signature golf course and a 9-hole short course called Firefly. There'll be a pool and a bowling alley, too. The developer hopes to have the golf course open by spring of 2026. And another casual dining chain restaurant closing some of its locations. TGI Fridays says it's going to focus on retooling its brand and close 50 locations in states like California and New Jersey. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. We probably shouldn't run the weather reports in the afternoon. You don't want to ruin Halloween for kids 2 days before, you know? Let them find out the hard way that it's going to rain. You know?
Especially the ones that have clown makeup on.
Oh, it's going to be
any makeup.
Listen, I thought the only sad clowns were going to be at the Democrat parties on November 5th. But there will be some sad clowns. Yeah, honestly.
Maybe it'll be more. It'll mean more candy for me.
Maybe. I wonder what RFK Jr. hands out at his for trick or treating. You know, the Make America Healthy Again guy.
Carrots.
Listen, can I tell you something? Real talk. My wife has been pulling out all of the like artificial food dyes and coloring and all this.
Yeah.
And she got for the kids organic Cheetos.
Organic Cheetos.
With no food dye, no nothing, and organic Doritos.
And they're probably good.
I'll tell you what, it's the best Cheeto I've ever had in my life and the best Dorito I've ever had.
Interesting.
It's so tasty. No guilt. Well, I didn't have much guilt anyway, but I had guilt when the kids were eating them. You know, I don't have guilt when I do it. I have guilt when they do it. But I'm telling you, organic Cheetos. It was something special.
I'm gonna look that up, man.
You should. And then we gotta buy them. Let's vote with our pocketbooks. We get better stuff. All right, I do want to switch gears. We've been talking a lot about the open border. We've been talking a lot about Kamala Harris, a lot about Donald Trump in 2024. We got 1 week. Kamala Harris. We'll see you next Tuesday. But I need to get to this CNN issue that happened. Have you heard this? Mehdi Hassan versus Ryan Girdusky on CNN last night. It was absolutely insane. Let me paint the scene, okay? I want to paint the picture, okay? You have a round table panel. A couple members of the panel really got into a heated discussion. A couple of the members were like, "I'm sitting this one out, and I want nothing to do with this." But it was Mehdi Hassan, who he's a practicing Muslim. He had an MSNBC show that got canceled. He's pro-Palestine, okay? You had Abby Phillips, who's the host. Abby Phillip is the host of the show. You had Ashley Allison, who's a former Biden-Harris National Coalitions Director and an Obama White House staffer. And then you had Ryan Girdusky, who I guess he's the conservative on the panel. I'm not really sure what his deal is. But this is what happened. Mehdi Hassan called Ryan Girdusky a Nazi. Ryan responds with a joke about, "I hope your beeper doesn't go off." Then Ryan was told to sit down and shut up while the rest of the panel berated him. They kicked him off the panel during the commercial break and came back and apologized to Mehdi Hassan and the viewers for his comments. So I want to play this. It's about 2 minutes, but I want to play the meltdown, and then we can kind of break it down step by step, okay? This was maybe one of the most wild things I've ever seen on TV. Ever.
Be called Nazis. Stop doing.
You're called an anti-Semite. You've been called an anti-Semite more than anyone else's table.
Yeah.
And people would sit there and no, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. I'm used to it.
Yeah. I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
you just say I should die.
You
should not.
No,
did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
All right, so we're 20 seconds in. He says, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, don't do Nazi stuff. And then Ryan jumps. He said, well, you've been called an anti-Semite more than anybody. He goes, yeah, by you. He goes, I didn't call you that. And then they go back and forth. He's like, I'm for the Palestinian people. And he goes, well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. I thought it was pretty funny. Not going to lie to you. I thought it was a good joke. Nobody's sitting there thinking that Mehdi Hassan is working for Hamas. Nobody thinks that Mehdi Hassan is working for Hezbollah, right? It was a joke. But we're 20 seconds in. And now Ryan Girdusky is on defense, which is soft. If you're going to make that joke, you have to be ready to go hard. Ryan Girdusky was not ready to go hard.
Did your guest just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you
Guys, let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a big supporter
of the Palestinians.
Of Hamas?
Guys, let me
stop. Palestinian.
Are you?
Am I what? No, of course I'm not.
Palestinians are not.
Are you a racist, violent person inciting violence against
Ryan,
me?
That's disgusting. That is completely.
I apologize.
Good job, CNN. Let's have first block say the Muslim guy should be blown up.
I apologize.
On TV.
Don't say then I apologize. You literally.
I thought he said Hamas. I apologize.
You didn't think I.
Here's the thing. One of the worst things that you can do when you're confronted with left-wing outrage and cancel culture, one of the worst things that you can do is apologize. That's it. That's one of the worst things that you can do. CNN is saying it's okay for you to be calling conservatives, which I'm assuming Ryan's a conservative, especially the way everybody attacked him. You can call conservatives Nazis. You can call Trump a literal fascist, right? You can call him a dictator. You can do all that against conservatives, but the same standard is not to be applied to the other side, right? It's not. They're saying Donald Trump is going to round up his political enemies, and if you support him, you're just as evil as he is. That's okay. That's okay. But if you make a quip about beepers, which I thought was a funny joke, that's a no. That's a no. And Ryan immediately backs off and says, I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You should have never done that. Should have never done that. And then the former Obama staffer wants her apology, too.
I said Hamas. I said I supported Palestinian rights.
Yes, I did.
Why? Because when you hear
What's funny
Palestinian,
is
you
Rudy
hear Hamas?
Giuliani said this yesterday, so you're a great guest to be here
All
to
right,
defend
I
Rudy
told
Giuliani.
myself I wasn't going to entertain nonsense today, and so at this point,
This is what we're in
I
now.
can't
This
do
is America in
Here's
2024.
what I will say.
This is the Obama staffer.
Forget the
Here's what
racism.
that's right.
It's I should
That's
die.
right.
I didn't say that. You
You
should
said,
die.
what does beeper mean? Don't give me your
I
fake
did not
ignorance.
say you should
Guys,
die.
Why did you say with my beeper
give me
go?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
So what did you mean?
What did you mean by the beeper?
No.
No, you didn't. You said, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
Ryan, stop talking.
At least have the guts.
Do you hear Abby Phillip go, Ryan, stop talking? And he looks at her and he mouths, okay. Listen, you got to lean into this and be like, guys, everybody calm down. You calm down. Calm down. And then laugh at them.
To support your racist comment.
Hang on.
I'm so sorry.
Let her bring it back.
This is why yesterday's rally was disgusting.
Don't call us Nazis, but I'm going to threaten the brown guy as a
This is
terrorist
why.
and kill him.
Because I didn't ever say Donald Trump was Hitler. But do you know who stood on a stage yesterday and said, I want to come to the Nazi rally? I don't have to make up words and call you something. You're saying it for yourself. And what you just said
Kamala
right
Harris
here,
is a pimp
apologize,
handler.
but I will tell you, I don't accept that apology, and you didn't even say it
That's
to
fine.
me.
I didn't say it
that
to
was
you.
disgusting. But I can be offended when you don't even say it to me. I'm not Puerto Rican, but I was offended by what he said yesterday. And I'm offended that the former president and potentially future president would allow it and go for 12 hours and not say, I don't care. Because you know what? When Kamala Harris put out statements about switching up opinions, it wasn't good enough for Republicans.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you said it.
He said, the other conservative on the panel was like, why are you looking at me? I didn't have anything to do with this. I think it's important to point out that Ryan Gardowski should have never gone on defense that quick. Either make the joke and be ready to deal with, the backlash that's coming, have a way to pivot out of it, or don't. But to apologize to what is essentially a left-wing mob, you're shooting yourself in the foot. They're not going to accept your apology, as the Obama staffer said. Ashley Allison said, you didn't even apologize to me. It's like, I didn't say it to you. I didn't say it to you, but this is left-wing. These are left-wing lunatics. If you say something, you have to apologize to her directly, even if you didn't say it to her. And it all started with one joke. After being called a Nazi, he makes a joke. Well, then you must have a beeper, right? You must be Hamas. If I'm a Nazi for supporting Donald Trump, you must be Hamas for supporting Palestine. You get where he was going with the joke. He should have never gone on defense. Should have never gone on defense.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing.
You're called an anti-Semite more than anyone else at this table.
Yeah.
And people will sit there and no, by me, I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
you just say I should die?
You should not.
No,
Did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. I said, no, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did your guest just say I should be killed? On live TV.
Chaos ensues. I don't think the joke was that out of line. I don't. And I don't think you should have apologized for it. CNN then immediately goes to commercial after this, right? And they come back and Ryan is gone. Ryan is gone. And what we're left with is a close-up of Abby Phillip, and she's got some apologizing to do. She wants to apologize to everyone for what you had to endure.
We're back here, and before we get started, I want to just address what happened in the last segment. And first, I want to apologize to Mehdi Hassan for what was said at this table. It was completely unacceptable.
But it's totally acceptable for Mehdi Hassan to call a guy a Nazi and say, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, don't do Nazi things. That's totally fine. Totally fine.
When we get this discussion started, you'll see that Ryan is not at the table.
Ryan's gone. Ryan's looking for work. Ryan should have never apologized. And when Ashley Allison was the Obama staffer is yelling at him like, you need to apologize to me, I probably would have leaned in and been like, I think you need to calm down, actually. And I probably would have laughed at all of them. They get these weak-kneed conservatives on these panels. And Ryan Gradowski, I mean, he acted like a beta. He did. If you're going to go there, be ready to go there all the way. Or don't. Or don't. And he was removed from the show.
There is a line that was crossed there, and it's not acceptable to me. It's not acceptable to us at this network. We want discussion. We want people who disagree with each other to talk to each other. But when you cross the line of a complete lack of civility, that is not going to happen here on this show.
See, she misses the line being crossed by the left for how many years now? The line was crossed by the left first, normalized, and made okay years ago. But don't you dare make a joke about the other side, you bigot. Ryan Gradowski, I mean, listen, I don't think he handled it well at all. I would have handled it completely different with a lot more laughter, and I probably would have mocked them personally. Like, wow, you guys are triggered super easily. If you're going to go there, be ready to go there. It's 11:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're going to check in with Matt Murphy next. See what's happening on Murphy's show today. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from 99.7 WTN. If you're thinking about advertising this year in 2025 and beyond, you have to combine the power of radio with the power of digital. We do it here flawlessly, and our sales team can hook you up with a package tailored to your exact needs. So if you want to advertise with me. Advertise with 99.7 WTN. Go to the website for more info, 997wtn.com/epic. It's 11:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Matt Murphy is in studio. Matt.
Hello.
We are not allowed to make any beeper jokes on this network.
I was going to ask you when's the last time you had a beeper / pager?
I never had one. I was born in 88.
That's true. You're too young for it.
I had a sidekick too.
Do you remember a time where there was no cell phone?
Yeah, I do.
Thank goodness.
I remember getting my first. I always tell people I'm from the best generation. I grew up without the internet, and then I got the internet, and I have the best of both worlds. I know how to use it, and I know how to live without it.
And you'll live long enough for the internet to take over and destroy us all.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, I watched.
You get the full circle.
I've watched Terminator a couple times. I'm looking forward to it.
Not Terminator. The future is WALL-E.
Oh,
that's the. Have you ever seen WALL-E?
No, it's Disney.
You need to see. Well, you need to just get a synopsis of WALL-E.
Okay.
It's a future where nobody do. Well, you just have to see it.
Just one sad Elon Musk robot wandering around.
Wandering around, because human beings have destroyed themselves by sitting around and on sofas and eating themselves to death or whatever. So yeah. That's our future. That's great. That's great.
You're bringing the positivity.
No, it's just, we were talking about this stupid CNN thing. I mean, you hate to see it as such a classy operation like CNN, don't you? Don't you hate to see it?
I just don't understand, why is it okay for the guy to go, well, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, don't do Nazi things. And that's not crossing the line?
Well, if you don't want to be called a terrorist, don't do terrorist things.
Thank you.
So would that have been okay? If you don't want to be called a terrorist, and so he's not even saying Nazi sympathizer. So the counter would be, if you don't want to be called a terrorist, don't do terrorist things. Instead, the guy responds by making a beeper joke. Hope your beeper doesn't go off. Oh, you threatened me with that. Oh, shut up. Just stop feigning righteous indignation.
You can see when he processes the joke, dollar signs in his eyes. Yeah. He knows it's going to go viral. He knows he's going to get a bunch of coverage. He's a failed MSNBC host, which is, that's a low bar. It's a low bar.
Rachel Maddow and Jen Psaki are still on that channel.
Honestly.
Yeah, I'm told.
So we hear.
I'm told.
I've also heard rumors that Rachel Maddow it might be Mark Cuban's show.
I used to call her that fella on MSNBC all the time. People would get mad at me. I don't care.
What do you got coming up today?
7 days out, baby. 7 days to go. We're going to break down some of the things that are going on around the country with regard to voting and some of the shenanigans that are already taking place. One in Virginia. There's a story out of Virginia. There's a story out of Arizona in terms of not purging voter rolls properly. We're going to talk about that, not to depress you, but we're going to talk about the realities of what we have in front of us 7 days out. They are getting desperate. We always knew they would.
12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.